Imagine this. The pump is ready. The motor is installed. The customer has arrived for fat. The test team is standing by. Everyone expects a successful test. Then suddenly, the vibration transmitter isn't calibrated. The seal flush system isn't complete. The alignment report is missing. And the entire test gets postponed. One small oversight. Thousands of dollars lost. Schedules delayed. Customer confidence reduced. And here's the reality. Most pump package testing failures don't happen during the test. They happen before the test even starts. Because successful FAT and SAT aren't about finding problems, they're about eliminating problems before testing begins. Today, we're going to decode the complete pump package pre-test checklist. From documentation closure to alignment verification to instrumentation readiness to FAT and SAT preparation. You'll learn how world-class engineers ensure testing goes smoothly the first time. Because great commissioning starts long before the start button is pressed. This is 3D Decode. Let's begin. Next, why pretest closure matters. Let's start with a hard truth. Most commissioning delays are self-inflicted, not because the equipment is bad, not because the manufacturer failed, but because critical activities weren't completed before testing. Think about a pilot preparing an aircraft for takeoff. The aircraft may be perfectly designed, but if the checklist isn't completed, the flight doesn't happen. Pump testing follows the same philosophy. A structured checklist eliminates surprises, and surprises are expensive. FAT verifies manufacturing quality. S8 verifies installation quality. Both tests are important, but neither can succeed if the fundamentals are incomplete. And here's the interesting part. Many expensive site problems could have been identified weeks earlier through proper pre-test closure. That's why experienced commissioning engineers obsess over checklists, because they know success is usually determined before testing even begins. Tie-in closure requirements. Before a single motor starts, documentation must be complete, and many engineers underestimate how important this step is, because documentation creates the baseline for testing. Without approved documents, nobody knows exactly what success looks like. Start with design documentation. General arrangement drawings, P&IDs, wiring diagrams, data sheets, calculation packages, everything must reflect the latest approved design. Next comes quality documentation. Material test reports, inspection reports, ITP completion records, deviation closure reports, because if quality records are incomplete, questions will arise during acceptance. Then comes test documentation, approved procedures, witness points, acceptance criteria, roles and responsibilities, all clearly defined. The goal is simple. Nobody should arrive at FAT asking, what are we testing today? Everything should already be known and approved. Next, mechanic. Now let's move to the equipment itself, because mechanical integrity forms the foundation of successful testing. The first step is pump assembly verification. Confirm the correct pump model, correct impeller, correct internal clearances, correct fastener torque. Every detail matters. Then comes alignment. And this is where many problems begin. Pump-to-driver alignment must be complete. Soft foot must be eliminated. Alignment readings must be documented because poor alignment creates vibration, and vibration immediately creates test failures. Next comes rotation verification. Simple, yet critical. A wrong rotation direction can damage seals, reduce performance, and create confusion during startup, which means one of the simplest checks can prevent one of the most embarrassing failures. Experienced engineers never assume rotation. They verify it. Next, auxiliary systems readiness that quietly determine pump reliability. The auxiliary systems. These systems are often overlooked, yet they are essential. Let's start with the seal system. Correct installation, correct API plan, correct piping connections, pressure-tested lines, leak-free operation, because a perfect pump with a failed seal system will still fail testing. Next comes the lubrication system. Proper oil level, verified cleanliness, successful oil pressure testing, temperature control functionality, and then the cooling system. Cooling water flow must be confirmed. Heat exchangers must be functional. Water quality must meet requirements, because overheating problems don't care how expensive the pump is. Without healthy auxiliary systems, reliable operation becomes impossible. Next, instrumentation readiness. Now let's talk about the pump package. Instrumentation. The first requirement is installation. Every instrument must be mounted correctly, accessible, properly oriented, ready for operation. Then comes calibration. And this is where many FAT delays originate. A pressure transmitter may look perfect, but if calibration has expired, its readings cannot be trusted. Next comes loop checks. Signals must travel correctly from the field device to the control system. Without signal integrity, testing data becomes meaningless. And finally, alarm and trip settings. Configured, verified, tested, because protective functions must work before the equipment enters service. Remember this: bad instrumentation creates bad decisions, and bad decisions create commissioning delays. Next, electrical system checks. Now let's move into the electrical side. BEC-S means nothing if the motor can't operate safely. The first step is motor inspection. Check for shipping damage, verify mounting integrity, confirm nameplate data. Then perform insulation testing. The Megger test verifies motor insulation health, and this simple test can prevent expensive electrical failures. Next comes protection settings: overload protection, short circuit protection, ground fault protection, all properly configured. And finally, interlock verification. Emergency stops, permissives, starting logic, shutdown logic. Everything must work exactly as designed. Because during commissioning, electrical protection becomes your last line of defense. Next, FAT-specific preparation. Now let's focus specifically on factory acceptance testing. The P guide forward. Prove that the manufacturer delivered equipment that meets requirements. But proving performance requires preparation. All test instruments should be calibrated recently, typically within the previous 30 days. The test procedure must be formally approved. Safety arrangements must be in place. Guards, barriers, emergency procedures, and data acquisition systems must be verified. Because without accurate data, performance testing becomes meaningless. Then comes witness coordination. Customers, inspectors, third-party agencies, everyone must be available at the right time, because nothing delays FAT faster than missing witnesses. Successful FAT is not just about testing equipment, it's about coordinating people, procedures, and data. Next, SAT-specific verification. Now let's move from the factory to the site. Because SA answers a different question the factory. But does it work after installation? This is where site integration becomes critical. The foundation must be cured, anchor bolts properly torqued, piping connected without strain, nozzle loads within allowable limits, thermal expansion properly accommodated. Then comes suction verification, adequate NPSH, clean strainers, air removal, proper inlet pressure and operational readiness, minimum flow protection, control logic, emergency shutdown systems, auto start sequences. Everything must function together because SAT doesn't test the pump, SAT tests the installation. Next, safety and pre-start verification. Now we arrive at the final gate before startup: safety. Every rotating guard must be installed, clean, tools removed, debris cleared, emergency procedures communicated, required PPE available, fire protection systems ready. Then comes the final pre-start check: manual rotation, correct valve positions, auxiliary systems energized, control systems prepared. These checks may seem simple, but simple checks prevent serious incidents, and experienced commissioning engineers know something important. The final 5 minutes before startup often determine the next 5 days of troubleshooting. Next, common issues that delay testing. Let's talk about reality, because almost every project experiences delays, and the causes are remarkably similar: miscomplete calibration, alignment issues, seal system problems, unresolved punch list items, piping strain, control system issues. Most delays aren't complicated engineering problems. They're closure problems. Work that should have been completed earlier, which is why structured checklists are so powerful. They expose missing items before they become schedule problems, and preventing delays is always cheaper than recovering from them. Next, acceptance criteria preparation. Now let's discuss one of the most overlooked topics in testing: acceptance criteria. Because if success isn't defined, how do you know whether the test passed? Performance limits must be agreed upon beforehand. Flow, head, efficiency, all clearly defined. Vibration limits must be established, typically using API 610 or ISO criteria. Leakage criteria must be documented, and power consumption expectations must be understood. The worst time to discuss acceptance criteria is during the test, because that's when disagreements become expensive. World-class projects define success before testing begins, not after results arrive. Next, key interview questions and answers. Let's prepare for common commissioning interviews. What's the difference between FAT and SAT? FAT verifies equipment performance in the F installation quality at site. Why is alignment critical before FAT? Because misalignment affects vibration, reliability, and test validity. Why is instrument calibration required? Because inaccurate instruments create inaccurate acceptance decisions. What's the most common SAT issue? Piping strain. Because piping loads often distort alignment after installation. Why verify minimum flow protection? Because low flow operation can quickly damage pumps through overheating and recirculation. These questions appear frequently because they reveal whether an engineer understands commissioning fundamentals or only equipment theory. Next, the golden rule of pump testing. Let's finish with the most important statement in the entire presentation. FAT proves the equipment. SAT proves the installation. That's it. Simple. But INCRED fails, the equipment may have a manufacturing issue. If SAT-T fails, the installation may have a site integration issue. Understanding this distinction changes how engineers approach troubleshooting, because it separates equipment performance from installation performance, and that separation often leads directly to the root cause. Next quick reference, closure sequence. Before every pump test, remember this sequence: documents, mechanical, auxiliary systems, instrumentation, electrical, then testing. Each step builds on the previous one, and skipping steps creates risk. Successful commissioning isn't about working harder, it's about working systematically, because when preparation is done correctly, testing becomes confirmation rather than troubleshooting. And that's exactly how world-class commissioning teams operate. So that's how experienced engineers prepare pump packages for successful FAT and SAT execution, from documentation closure to alignment verification, to auxiliary system readiness, to safety checks. Every completed IY from the testing process. Because successful testing doesn't start on test day. It starts weeks earlier with disciplined preparation. If you enjoyed this engineering breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with fellow engineers. And tell us in the comments, which commissioning topic should 3D decode next? Pump startup procedures? API 610 FAT requirements? SAT troubleshooting? Commissioning best practices? Or complete pump package acceptance testing? I'm Aster X, and this is 3D Decode. See you in the next engineering breakdown.